more NFL teams out-of-market games? Not a great plan. A much better plan? Switch to my plan from Verizon and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV on us with eligible phone purchase and unlimited plus. That's a value of up to $449. Get every out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. Switch to my plan at your Verizon store today. And for a limited time, get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV on us with eligible phone purchase and unlimited plus. It's your Verizon. $449 value applies to NFL Sunday Ticket season 23-24 only. Additional terms and embargoes apply to NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube. No refunds.
Nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase.
Are they going to file bankruptcy and we don't get paid? If you're asking yourself these questions, then you should be asking yourself, why are we not calling AmeriFactors? Hi, I'm Kevin Goen, president of AmeriFactors. At AmeriFactors, we will advance you the cash you need on the day you generate your invoices for the goods or services that you provide, and we wait to get paid. Also with AmeriFactors, if your customers can't or won't pay, then you don't have to pay us back. We take the loss, not you. So if you want to stop worrying about your money and your customers, and you want to grow your business, call AmeriFactors at 800-884-3863. That's AmeriFactors, 800-884-3863. Or AmeriFactors.com for approval and funding within 24 hours.
And even a hot take or two. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, and the SXM app.
And breaking down the league's present.
James from beyond the arc, way out front, three-point shot. It's good! James Harden from way downtown.
We cover it all on NBA Today with Evan Cohen.
I am such a fan of yours, I hate to say that publicly.
And Eddie Johnson.
That doesn't shock me, man. It doesn't shock me.
And it starts now.
Okay.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it.
Get play-by-play from your teams, your favorite music, commercial-free, and personalities like Howard Stern, no matter where you live. Unlock it all now. Activate your radio by visiting www.siriusxm.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now.
You know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do. Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
And every time he takes the pitch, you can experience his brilliance on Sirius XM. Saturday at 9 Eastern. Hear Messi and Inter Miami in the League's Cup Final as they take on Nashville.
Messi's going to be like the Beatles here, man. Everywhere they go.
It's Messi Mania, and it's on Sirius XM FC, Channel 157, and the SXM app.
Messi in his magisterial best.
Aretha. Marvin. And all the other classic soul and Motown legends play night and day. It's called Soul Town, and you can visit anytime you like. Sirius XM Soul Town, Channel 49 and the SXM app. Free with all trials and popular plans. To hear Soul Town, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe with 28 podcast applications, if that makes sense to you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! You know when you hear that guy and you're out showing real estate listings and you just happen to pick the time when the neighborhood watch party wants to do their own celebrations, and you got the people looking at the house and you have some guy singing, won't you be my neighbor? That might kill the deal, but it won't kill the deal when you follow Big C Sports on a beautiful Thursday, August the 17th, 2023 in Denver Hills. Still want to say for our brethren in Hawaii that are dealing with the fires, may FEMA stepping in to help people. And obviously, it's a very, very tough situation. What a beautiful island. But life happens and they will rebuild, but it's still a little tough situation for a lot of people. So thoughts and prayers for the great people of Hawaii. Well, they want to say that. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 28 podcast applications all over the universe. I'm telling you, Amazon, thank you for bringing on the Big C Sports Podcast. Really do appreciate that. Amazon's pretty big, but Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, the Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also find us on Good Pods. I'm telling you, Geo Savan Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Podyssey, Podcast Republic, Good Pods Podcast. I'm telling you, there's another podcast that I'm really starting to worry about. I was having a dream last night that there were a lot of robots, and they were doing everything I told them. It was like I dreamed of Jeannie. I met Barbara Eaton when I was a Sky Cap back in college, and I remember she gave me $40 tip for 2 bags. And I said, you know what? Twinkling your nose really works. I was hoping you'd give me $40 for 2 bags. It worked. All Fred Leavenworth, all Feast.ai. The robots are trying to take over. You got to get rid of the robots, but give them praise. They got smart. They realized, you know what? Maybe we don't need those humans after all. If you don't need humans after all, be careful, because that's the way things are going. They're telling people we don't need people. They're using robots to do their thing. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said she's using artificial intelligence to go out and get business for her. And I said, how's that working for you? She said, not too well. If that makes sense to you, sometimes the robots are not motivated to do what people can do. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast. I don't do my show like a lot of other people. I don't know if that's good English or not, but Ebonics works too. I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. Some people told me I talk too fast. I said, well, you listen too slow. You got to find your tribe. Don't trade for everybody. Everybody has their own flavor of Kool-Aid. And then I'm telling you, it's so funny how some people say, man, you talk too fast. My granddaddy talked fast. My great-granddaddy talked fast. My grandmother talked fast. My great-grandmother talked fast. My mama talked fast. My daddy talked fast. I like talking fast. You just got to listen faster, if that makes sense to you. Lightning's fast, too. Lightning doesn't come out slow. A lot of good things in life, they come out fast, if that makes sense to you. And then the commercials are done. I'm the only sports show. I'm the only one in the universe. I do all of my commercials before the show. Most our podcast shows, not only do they have producers and script writers and three-way teleprompters, they have a whole crew of runners that figure out stuff for them. I do all mine with my higher sub, if that makes sense to you. But I keep doing them on the front part of the show, like the Energizer Bunny. I keep going and going and going and going. You think it's easy? Try sometimes speaking extemporaneously without taking a pause. A lot of people say, I can do it. Well, prove it. Put your money where your mouth is, if that makes sense to you. And then the stats are provided. I even do the storytelling. They say facts tell and stories sell. I do the play-by-play. Runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch. Curveball. Swung on. Hit deep. Left field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little red. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. In fact, I'm going to be doing some baseball hitting deep. Today's show talking about the top 10 hitters in Dimdare Hills in baseball, if that makes sense to you. Then I'll get into Big C's power rankings in the top 10. I heard some other shows, and they were going, I mean, everybody has their own flavor Kool-Aid. One of them said, it's funny. It said, welcome to the show. And then they did their own little thing, and they were talking really slow. We have some baseball coming up today, and we're going to go over the top 5 programs that are really swinging the bat. Well, today, Joe, hey, Bob, what do you have coming up? Well, Bob, today we're going to talk about some of the top pitchers in baseball. I said, enough! Everybody has their own flavor, if that makes sense to you. You know, sometimes I explained to someone who was trying to, what did Alexander O'Neal say? He said, all you want to do is criticize. He said, you know, I like your show, but you talk a little bit too fast. I don't want to be that guy that walks into the fast food restaurant and he says, the lady or the man behind the counter says, how can I help you? And the person says, well, let me see, give me, do you guys have, let me see, I want to get, do you guys still have hamburgers? They say, yeah, we're Hamburger Shack. They say, okay, so do you have, let me see, do you guys have some French fries? The lady said, yeah, we have French fries. He said, great, well, let me see, do you guys have, does everybody know that guy? Well, I don't want to be that guy on the radio. Give not me that guy some praise. All I want is 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions on a sesame seed bun. That's how I do my show, if that makes sense to you. And then the show's uploaded to 28 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Dimdare Hills, California. And then I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back at Salem Media. Really do appreciate that. Everybody has their own flavor of Kool-Aid. But the flavor of Kool-Aid that I love, in fact, I got to pick up some chai tea, some chai tea seeds, and I'm going to get some of that done this evening. But I want to say something that's really important to me. I was talking to some people in the military. In fact, one of my business partners, his name is Clyde, and he wrote the information for the Pacific Fleet. And that good boy, he's 76 years old, still plays baseball. And I was talking to him about just some things to honor our military veterans. I love doing that show. A lot of my brethren, they really appreciate it. I'm one of the younger guys in the crew that I spend time, but these guys are active. They're not sitting around playing bridge or playing dominoes. They're playing baseball. They're out doing their thing, and I really do appreciate that. The Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. Everybody knows at some time in life we all have a problem, and we need somebody to lean on. It's good to have someone to lean on. They will stand under a head to get our veterans some help. You know anybody going through issues, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I need somebody to lean on. It's always good leaning on somebody when somebody's leaning back, if that makes sense to you. And that's what the Veterans Crisis Line, they will do that for you, if that makes sense to you. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity and Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1 verse 3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. Some people haven't seen that version of the Bible. But he said, let there be light. And that means to elucidate the subject and shine light on things. I love shining the light on things. That's why I do my show, if that makes sense to you. I want to also do something that's near and dear to my heart. Everybody has their own flavor of Kool-Aid. I'm going to do mine the way I want to do it, because I want to be proud enough to say that I want to help champion reparations, not just in my own world, but in the world of people in the United States, in fact, all over the world, because it's important. And I always will pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. And I know school is starting all around the country. There is the most seminal documentation since the Emancipation Proclamation that's been put forth by the California Reparations Task Force. It's an 1,100-page report, and it provides recommendations for lawmakers. That's important. We are a nation of the law, and I would be remiss if I was acting like a lot of other media. They don't even talk about it. It's like Veni Vidi Vici. They came, they saw, they conquered. And when they left, people stopped talking about them. I will not do that. I will always talk about it and pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. I'm going to tell you, I really do appreciate it. And I want to have you join me in giving them praise. I've been told in life, you either lead, follow, or get out of the way. I want to give them praise. The attorney, Camila Moore, the chair, she's brilliant. I want to give her praise. Dr. Amos C. Brown, vice chair. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I love giving praise to the top senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. I want to give praise to Council Member Monica Montgomery Stepping. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Ambassador Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I want to give him some praise. I also want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I like giving her praise. Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at Cal Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And Donald K. Tamaki, part of the task force members. Brilliant. I love giving them praise. Everybody needs to pay attention to what's going on in California. And I know if you're just part of the mainstream media, they don't even talk about this stuff. They're only talking about who got a contract, who signed a big contract, who's bigger, stronger, and faster. And I think that's a miscarriage of justice, because if we don't do it, then it's our fault. We can't blame somebody else for not doing what we should be doing. God gave us that task, and I want to do my best in giving that task. On every show, I will also always pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because it's important. I've often heard that a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Well, so it's information. In that 1,100-page document, it would be great if it was must-read for every college and university, even elementary and high school in the United States. And maybe that will happen. I'm going to give it praise first. Sometimes when you put things out there, then it tends to happen, if that makes sense to you. I want to get into some things today, and I will always pay homage as I talk about reparations to my beautiful family legacy. I do it. I heard somebody trying to do the same thing, and he got as far as his grandma. He gave us some praise for bringing him some chicken noodle soup when he was growing up. But it's okay. Either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And I love saying, let's G-O-G-O, let's go, let's go, let's G-O-G-O, let's go. I love saying let's go with Big C Sports Podcast. And speaking of let's go, I want to sing the praise of my family legacy on my mother's side. My great-grandmother called her Mama, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. Then my grandfather called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And for saying, boys, get out of that barn now. How many times I got to tell you? You know, sometimes you got to tell a man something 3 or 4 times. It's not that we don't want to listen. It's sometimes we just don't know how. That's what I've learned. Sometimes we just don't know how. It's nothing personal. It's never anything personal. Sometimes we just don't know how, if that makes sense to you. And then my beautiful grandmother called her Mud Dear, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. She was actually a seer. She could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. Really do appreciate her. And she still helps me to this day. Kind of like those robots that I was having a dream with last night. They were all just doing they did everything I asked them to do. That's the kind of robot I want. They do everything you ask them to do. Be careful, artificial intelligence, and really do appreciate my grandfather Hezekiah, another wonderful person. A seer could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. I'm telling you, she did it in an all-boys league. She was the only woman coach in that league. I think she's the first woman to ever coach an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship in California, if that makes sense to you. Always saying rise and shine. Don't count on anybody. If you got something to do, you do it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. That's where I get it from. I don't wait. Everybody has an opinion. I don't want to hear your opinion unless I can hear you doing your opinion on your show. Get that some praise. A lot of people want to give you an opinion. They don't even have what you have, but they got opinions. And it's okay to listen, but have the common sense to listen to somebody who's already walked down the road that you're walking on, if that makes sense to you. Saves you a lot of time and heartache. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. In fact, at the church, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. At our restaurants, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. And at home, everybody wanted Mama's cooking. She'd often say, son, how many plates have you had? I say, plates are baby crap to what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my reparations. See, I was sometime a little smart aleck when I was younger, and it's got me in trouble, but it's also got me out of trouble. All's friend, love or love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. On my father's side, my grandfather called him Albert Curry. He was a pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland. He built the 3rd church in Central California with his own hands. He also owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Badcroft and the other on Foothill. They were Shell gas stations. We were always trying to get all the penny bubble gum we could. They had penny bubble gum back in the day. Now penny bubble gum, it actually costs 10 cents. Do that math. Must be factoring, if that makes sense to you. But what I'm really proud of is my granddaddy also owned 40 acres of land. Isn't it ironic that his grandson is championing reparations now, reparations forever? Where President Abraham Lincoln gave us 40 acres and a mule, but it never got paid out. And for people that say, oh, Curry, that's a long time ago. Imagine doing a hard day's work, or a hard week's work, or a hard month's work, and when it's time to go get your paycheck, the boss says, we're not going to pay you. You did that for free. You anti-reparators, if you anti-reparate, you say, oh, give me my money. And that's the attitude that some politicians have towards descendants of chattel slavery. They say, that was a long time ago. And everybody out there, they driving up and down the highway trying to get some money, and they're hoping that at the end of the day or at the end of the week that your boss is going to pay you. Well, what if they don't pay you? What are you going to do now? And that's why I'm telling people, don't wait until you're broke to start championing what Big C Sports has been saying. Reparations now, reparations forever. Because it's owed to you. Just like that paycheck you're trying to get from your boss at the end of the week. It's owed to you. And some of our people, they don't even ask for what's theirs. It's like in the lost and found at an airport. You go into an airport, you fly out of Dim Deer Hills to a different location, and then when you get to that location, you can't find what you paid the sky cap 50 cents for to put on the plane. 50 cents. Yeah, that's probably why your stuff didn't show up. 50 cents for a bag. I'm not saying I understand it, but I've seen it, if that makes sense to you. But they oftentimes will put things in a lost and found. You ever go to a lost and found, and you're saying, I'm looking for a bag, it has my tag on it, and inside of that bag, there's a computer, I need it for work. And they ask you for your tag number, your name, and they verify it, and they say, hey, we found your bag, we found your lost luggage, and it's right now in lost and found. And you go back there, and they show you the bag that was lost, with the stuff, all the stuff that belongs to you, and they say, here's your computer, and you say, oh, I don't want it, I lost that a long time ago. And that's what people say about reparations. Oh, that was a long time ago, but it still had your name on it. Give having your name on it some praise. Because Abraham Lincoln did a lot for descendants of chattel slavery, and some of us act like it don't belong to us. So we go to lost and found and we say nothing. It's a shame how we've been bamboozled and brainwashed into not asking for what belongs to you. But we go up and down the highway, going to check into work, hoping they pay you. And you got the money sitting there with your name on it. And some of us won't even ask for it. But you mark my words. I've heard some more radio shows. They've been talking about reparations. They're kind of quiet about it because they don't have the balls yet. The only balls they have, the one they play with up and down the court, have the size of the faith of the grain of a mustard seed. We got to have that. We got to have it. We got to ask for it. Oftentimes, if you go to Lost and Found and you have your receipt, you know they won't give you what belongs to you if you don't present your receipt. You can't just go there and say, oh, this is mine. They ask for a receipt. They ask you for your claim ticket. And we have the claim ticket. It's called the Emancipation Proclamation. And a lot of us don't even ask for it. We got to start asking for it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Really do appreciate that from my granddaddy. Then my grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland, and building the 3rd church in Central California, and then running the 2 gas stations in Oakland on Bancroft and Foothill. They were Shell stations. But I was 8 years old, walking through a hallway at 10 o'clock at night. She touched me in my forehead. And I said, what in the world is she doing up at 10 o'clock? She normally goes to bed at 8:30. And that's a fact. She would always go to sleep at 8:30. She would just fall asleep sometime. And she touched me in my forehead, and she said, what are you doing? Going to get some more cookies? I said, cookies are baby crap to what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my reparations. I used to think that was funny because I think it's funny now, but it's also serious. And she said, there's something about your voice. I'm not making this up. I've heard it all my life. There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. And now, so does Amazon, because Big C Sports Podcast is on 28 podcast applications all over the universe. That's more than anybody. There are a lot of people that get pushed up by their company, and they'll promote them all over the place, put them on TV and radio and billboards. And you look, there's only like 2 or 3 applications that they're on. I don't have those robots working behind. Oh my God, I had an epiphany. Maybe that's the robotic dream I had last night about these robots that were saying yes to everything I asked. I'm going to get me one of those, and maybe I can get it from Amazon. Give that some praise. I'm telling you, I just had another epiphany. I'm telling you, it came to me last night. God said, you're going to have robots helping you. Not people. People change. People like the weather. One day they're hot, one day they're cold. Robots are the same. And maybe I had an epiphany. I'm not making this up. I had a dream that robots were helping me get what I wanted. I'm teaching them to mine for $6 billion. If that makes sense to you. I'm telling you, I'm not making this stuff up. Really do appreciate my grandmother. Love her very, very much. And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. In fact, in the Air Force, my father's roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, that was written and produced by the great Spike Lee and acted by my favorite actor, the great Denzel Washington. And I can't wait until the reparations are passed and Denzel's going to say, reparations now, reparations forever. And he'll get an award for that, as opposed to saying, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. But that's what he got the award for. He should have gotten it from Malcolm X, because that was one of his best jobs. That's my opinion. Should have got it from Malcolm X. Really do appreciate that. And then my beautiful, I'm telling you, love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice. Sound like thunder and lightning when Todd speaks. A voracious reader. Really do appreciate Todd. Always talking about things that make you think, and really do appreciate that. And then my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. I'm telling you, it's important to me that my daughter set up the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast. It was back at Salem Media, and it went on to become the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. They were normally only on ESPN. And then shenanigans happened, and I was told if 2 N-words can do it, they could bring us some insurrectionists, and they did. They created shenanigans, and the show went away. And while some of the producers I called to see if I can do a commercial with them, their number's been off the air. I'm not making it up. I'm not wishing them anything bad, but that's what happened. And I'm still shining, and I want to give God praise for shining. Daisy, Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you can prosper. Always trust God in everything that you want, and ask God to protect you. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College senior this year. Really proud of you, son. You can be anything you want to be. Just stay around positive-minded people. Don't listen to people who are negative. In fact, Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get the newspaper and look up stats for teams and players for the Big C Sports Podcast. And one day Malcolm said, Dad, he said, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. Now on 28 podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms. In fact, one day Malcolm said, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. And that's before it was even on the air. Now it's on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And he's spoken into existence before it happened. Like I'm speaking $6 billion. And it's something to do with those robots that were in my dream last night. They were like the stormtroopers in Star Wars. They did everything I asked them to do. Isn't that something? I'm telling you, it's epiphanies coming to me by leaps and bounds. They just keep coming and coming and coming. Malcolm Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Always trust God. You can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then Big C, with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, that my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn always saying, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe, saying, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying, welcome to the show. It's been nominated for Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3-way teleprompters. I have no producers in my ear. I do my show with my higher self, and I want to give that some praise. Really do appreciate the opportunity to do what I love doing. And now, today, what did they say? What did Rod Stewart say? He said, tonight, the NBA announced schedule for the 2023 and 2024 season. I'm telling you, we just had the finals last year. Obviously, defending champion Denver Nuggets, they are looking to try to repeat. I don't think they will repeat. The Golden State Warriors and Dim Deer Hills, they have the main three, the big three nucleus together with Curry, Thompson, and Green. Sounds like a law firm. The LA Lakers, they gave Anthony Davis too much money. And I think the Lakers, when they beat Golden State last year, they shot 80 more free throws in 6 games. That should not happen this year. And then out of the Eastern Conference, is it Philadelphia's turn to make it to the promised land? We will see. The Boston Celtics, they've had the chance to go the last 2 years, and they got through once, and they got knocked out last year. The Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler, that's good, old boy. Are they poised to try to make another run at an Eastern Conference championship? The last 2 times they've been there, they lost to the Lakers in the bubble season, then they lost to the Denver Nuggets this last season. But I think about what happens out of New York City. The NBA released its complete game schedule and broadcast schedule for TNT, ESPN, ABC, NBA TV, also talking about Big C Sports Podcast, because I'll cover them also, if that makes sense to you, for the 2023-24 regular season. The day-by-day and team-by-team schedules are available at NBA.com/schedule. That's NBA.com/schedule. The 78th NBA regular season. It will tip off Tuesday, October 24th, 2023, and conclude on Sunday, April 14th. 2024. Now, the 2024 NBA Play-In Tournament, it will take place from Tuesday, April 16th to Friday, April 19th, followed by the start of the 2024 NBA playoffs presented by Google Pixel on Saturday, April 20th. Game 1 of the 2024 NBA Finals, presented to you by YouTube TV. It's set for, I think it's called Thursday, the day after Hump Day. That's Thursday, June 6th. If that makes sense to you. The regular season schedule includes defined dates and opponents for 80 of each team's 82 games, along with 2 games designated as to be determined dates and the opponents. Those 2 games for each team will be played the week of December 4th. Will be determined based on the results of called a group play-in games in the inaugural NBA in-season tournament. The group play-in schedule November 3rd. I'm telling you, through the 28th, it was announced August 15th. There's a lot of changes coming in NBA basketball. You got to get used to changes. Change is inevitable. No matter what we think about NBA basketball, change is always inevitable. Something that's going to happen. We got to get used to it. They got some games already that are announced on a couple of platforms with TNT. And on Wednesday, October 25th, they got the LA Lakers at the defending world champion Denver Nuggets. Got the Phoenix Suns. And that's on TNT. Phoenix Suns will take on the Golden State Warriors, and that's a 10 p.m. Tip-off East Coast time. The Lakers and Nuggets are a 7:30 p.m. tip-off East Coast time. And think about another game that's coming up. You got the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks, man, they're always hoping in New York City that they can have a winner or at least a good playoff team. They had a good run last year but came up short. And obviously, the Boston Celtics, they're always knocking on the door with that leprechaun, if that makes sense to you. You got the Dallas Mavericks taking on the San Antonio Spurs in the bout of Texas. That's on ESPN, 9:30 tip-off East Coast time on ESPN. And then you have Thursday, October 26th, the Philadelphia 76ers And they keep knocking on that door, but they haven't been able to kick it in on TNT against the Milwaukee Bucks at 7:30 tip-off East Coast time on TNT. And then the Phoenix Suns and the LA Lakers at 10 o'clock p.m. tip-off East Coast time on TNT. And then some more news from the East Coast, the Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. That's a 7:30 p.m. tip-off East Coast time on ESPN. And then on the West Coast, if you saw the series last year with the Sacramento Kings, light the beam, taking on the Golden State Warriors, that's a 10 o'clock p.m. tip-off East Coast time on ESPN. It's began to be an I-80 rivalry with the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. And people thought the Kings had the better team last year, but the Golden State Warriors, they have that playoff mentality where it's a different level they achieved last year in the playoffs, if that makes sense to you. I think what changed that series is when Draymond Green, he stomped on the side of Sabonis, and Sabonis didn't even get up and throw a punch. He didn't get up and try to fight him. He just let him step on his side and walked away. If you are the lead player on your team and you let a man put his foot in your backside and you don't even do anything but lay on the ground and hold your side, you got away with it. I don't think that would have happened with the Detroit Bad Boys. You couldn't have done that to Lane Beer or Dennis Rodman. They would have gotten up and at least challenged you. And I think when Sabonis didn't challenge Draymond Green, and none of the other teammates did either, they watched their star player get stomped on his home court, and they all just kind of looked around like, well, ref, hey, ref, are you going to do something? I don't think that could have happened with Shaq. That could not have happened with Kareem. I don't think that would have happened with Dennis Rodman. They would not have said, hey, ref, are you going to do something, ref? I don't think that would have happened. And I think that set a tone, and I think the Kings played a little bit passive when you can step on a man in his own house and he doesn't do anything. They're asking the referee, hey, ref, you're going to throw him out of the game? He just stepped on my ribs. And I think that changed the mindset in that series, and they were missing shot after shot after shot. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. Got the New York Knicks against the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know how that brings people to the TV set. It's a 7 p.m. tip-off East Coast time on NBA TV. And you got the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns, 10 o'clock p.m. tip-off East Coast time on NBA TV. That's Saturday, October 28th. But that's the start of the NBA basketball. It's all fair in Leavenworth. It's all fair in Denver Hills. I want to come into what I like, and I've loved it since I was a little boy. Maybe because my mother taught Little League Baseball when I was a young boy. And it was an all-men's league, and we still went on to win the championship in what we call the championship of the universe. You know, it's amazing. I want to get into Big C's thoughts on some of the great players that are making some noise and swinging the bat. And everybody has their own thoughts about who the best players are. It's just like when I go sometimes to a fast food restaurant and the guy's going, do you guys have some of the, let me see, do you guys have, and it's because of guys like that, they started getting rid of people behind the counter, and they put up a kiosk where you have to go to the kiosk and order your food because of guys like, do you guys have, do you guys have, and they got tired of guys like that. So they put a kiosk. And if you can't read, they put a picture of what you want to order. And the guy still stares at the kiosk going, let me see, and then people say, excuse me, sir, can you let somebody else order, please? And then they let Big C in. And all I asked for is 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles and onions on a sesame seed bun. Yeah, I may talk too fast, but at least I get my order in, if that makes sense to you. Speaking of getting your order in, when it looks at baseball, the great Matt Olson is coming for the great Shohei Ohtani. And Ohtani's had a lock on the top spot in Major League Baseball as the hitters' power rankings. And for many weeks now, he was a unanimous number 1 choice in the last 3 polls. But now Olson is closing in on the Angels' two-way superstar, still number 1 in this week's hitters' power rankings. But he's not a unanimous anymore. Olson received several first-place votes from MajorLeagueBaseball.com panel and finished out a close second behind the great Shohei Ohtani. There's some other names that are up there on the polls also. And I've been saying for many, many moons now, I know people say Mike Trout's the best player in the Angels outfit. I don't think so. Just my opinion. I like the great Shohei Ohtani. It's a shame he's not playing in Dodger blue, because the great Shohei Ohtani, he leads the American League with 42 runners on first and third. The count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little Riz. He loves saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. 42 home runs, and he leads the major leagues. I'm telling you, that good boy, he has a 1.071 OPS, and he's closing in on the 46 home runs that he hit in his MVP season, and that was 2021, as tall as the great Troy Glaus, the Angels' single-season record of only 47 set in 2000. I'm going to give the great Shohei Ohtani, he's going to go over 50 home runs this year. 50 home runs? Oh, Curry, you must be out of your mind. I don't think 50 home runs is too much to ask for the great Shohei Ohtani. And the reason I say that he's going to hit over 50 home runs this year is because people want to challenge him. Not like the days of Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds got walked so many times, intentional walks. That's why he hit the 73 home runs one year, because people wanted to challenge. They wanted to challenge Barry Bonds. As you get better, you can want to walk a player, but I think people want to challenge Shohei Ohtani. It'd be great for baseball to challenge the great Shohei Ohtani, and I think he hits over 50 home runs this year. Will set the Angels record. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. Now, down in Dimdale Hills, Georgia, down by Stone Mountain, you got the great Matt Olson for the Atlanta Braves. Olson has overtaken the great Shohei Ohtani in Major League Baseball home run race. He has 43 home runs. He'll also hit over 50 this year, and that's on the season so far, with his Major League Baseball leading 107 RBIs. So it's no real surprise that he's shooting up the hitter of the power rankings. He slugged 14 homers already in the second half and is now on a pace for 58 home runs. Could he hit 60? It'd be great to see him hit 60. That humidity down south, I don't know if that might stop the ball from going over the yard 60 times, but I think he's on pace for that 50. He should at least hit 55. That makes sense. Now, another great player down in Stone Mountain, Georgia. The great Ronald Acuna Jr. got him at number 3, and he's in the top 3 in the hitter power rankings for the 9th straight poll in the National League MVP frontrunner. He's batting .335 with 27 home runs. Runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch. Curveball. Swung on. Hit deep. Right field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little Riz. Love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. He leads the majors with 55 stolen bases, like the great Ricky Henderson. Ricky's going to steal second. Ricky's going to steal second. Ricky just stole second, if that makes sense. Back in Oakland, I'm telling you, this good boy is coming on the same way. A lot of speed. Ronald Acuna Jr. has a lot of great baseball left in those legs, if that makes sense to you. And 109 runs scored. With a few more homers, he'll join the great Barry Bonds in 1990, the great Eric Davis in 1987, as the only players with a 30-50 season. With a few more steals on top of that, he'll become the first 30-60 player in the American League and National League history. I'm telling you, he has star written all over him. We will see how he progresses throughout the season. I got number 4 out here on the West Coast in Chavez Ravine. The great Freddie Freeman for the LA Dodgers. He's so consistent, rolling along with a .339 batting average trained long ago in a galaxy far, far away by the great Obi-Wan Kenobi. He has 23 home runs, and he has a 1.003 OPS. Always a doubles machine. Freeman has a Major League Baseball high 44 in 2023. He could lead the majors for the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons and lead the National League for the 4th time in the last 6 seasons. He is must-see TV, if that makes sense to you. Number 5, I like the great Mookie Betts for the LA Dodgers down at Chavez Ravine. The Dodgers have won 10 in a row. I still like this team to get to the World Series this year. It's just a feeling they have. They always turn it on at the right time down at Chavez Ravine. So Olsen and Acuna are the best duo in baseball right now. And our Freeman and Betts, I really like what Mookie Betts does. It's a close call. Betts is having one of the best seasons of his career. He's batting .293. He has 31 home runs, 81 RBIs, and a .973 OPS. He's batting .404 in August with multiple hits of 9 of 14 games. He's hit multiple times, 9 times in 14 games, and they know he's a danger. That's why I like the great Mookie Betts, if that makes sense to you. Number 6, the great Coley Bellinger for the Chicago Cubs. Take me out to the ball game. Come on, give Harry Carey some praise. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. The late, great Harry Carey. Now, Bellinger, he's not slowing down in his resurgent season, and is pushing his way toward the top 5 in the hitter power rankings. He's batting .327 with 18 home runs, 17 stolen bases, and a .933 OPS. And with the Chicago Cubs still in playoff contention, he's rewarding them. I'm telling you, he's rewarding that team. He's a good player. I got to bring in number 7 on the list, the great Corey Seager. The Rangers down in Texas. They say the stars shine bright in the middle of the night, deep in the heart of Texas. One of those big bugs they have down in Texas also. Now, Seager, he's picked up right where he left off since returning to the Rangers lineup a couple of weeks ago, and that puts him right back in the hitter power rankings. He's also batting .348. He's a Jedi Knight trained long ago in a galaxy far, far away by the great Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that puts him on course to win his first career batting title in the American League with 22 home runs and a 1.072 OPS. A really solid player. Really like what he's doing. Also deep in the heart of Texas, down in Dusty Baker territory. Number 8, the great Kyle Tucker for the Houston Astros, the defending World Series champion Houston Astros. Tucker's go-ahead 9th inning grand slam off the Orioles closer Felix Bautista last week was the signature moment of his season, and that season was already great. He's already having a great season. The Astros sluggers up to 24 home runs to go, along with 24 stolen bases, something about that 24, if that makes sense to you. And he's batting .297 with a .903 OPS. He's a great player. I got number 9, Luis Reyes for the Marlins down there in the great city of Miami. He's cooled off a little in recent weeks, but he's still leading the Major League Baseball batting race with a .361 average. He's like the great Scarface when he said, "Say hello to my little friends." I don't know if a lot of people know who Scarface was, but one of the greatest, most cruel and gruesome movies I've ever seen. Tony Montana, and he's taken over not the same kind of gruesomeness that Tony Montana had when he said, "Say hello to my little friends," but he is hammering balls out the ballpark, if that makes sense to you. He's still leading the majors with 164 hits, so he's saying, "Say hello to my little friends." If the Marlins can claim a wild card spot, it would be because of Reyes, because he's the real deal. He is the next Tony Montana, if that makes sense to you. Now, number 10 on Big C's list is Bobby Witt Jr. for the Kansas City Royals. He has a breakout thrust in him, the power hitter rankings in the top 10. The Royals' 23-year-old rising star. He's only 23, but he's been red hot all summer. He's batting .327 with a .992 OPS since the start of July, and he's one of the most dynamic power speed threats in baseball. 23 home runs and 34 stolen bases on the season. It could be more, but the good boy can play. There's a lot of people in baseball that have their own opinions about who the best players are. Other guys receiving votes, the great Juan Soto, Austin Riley, Jose Altuve, Luis Roberts Jr., Yandy Diaz, Tristan Sace, and then Kerry Carpenter, all fan level. Where I want to give all of those good old boys some praise because Major League Baseball is a great sport. And now we're coming up on the crescendo of sports because NFL football is right around the corner in Dim Their Hills, and that's the king of television. NBA basketball, they just released their schedule today. NBA basketball is fantastic, especially when you get on the back nine after the All-Star games. That's when people start really clamoring to see who's going to be in position to make the playoffs. But then there's always baseball. They used to say baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. I don't think that's the case anymore. But baseball is making a comeback because of the pitcher's clock. You can't stand on the base as long as that guy that walks into a restaurant and goes, "Do you guys have a, let me see if you guys have a, can I see if you have a, let me see if you guys have one of those, they got rid of those guys. They start putting up kiosks. And so baseball is using their own kiosk. It's called the pitch clock, if that makes sense to you. And if it does, give that some praise. And now, before I close out today's show, man, I love sports. It's amazing. But my show goes by too fast. But an hour extemporaneous speaking It's amazing, and I love giving it praise that 28 podcast platforms have seen that I have something worth talking about. What did Dolly Parton say? She said, let's give them something to talk about. Man, you don't sound like we want the real Dolly Parton. Okay, I don't seem like Dolly Parton, if that makes sense to you, but let's give them something to talk about. I want to close out today's shows with Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I talked about some of the top 10 hitters in Major League Baseball. And again, it's just my opinion. And everybody has their own opinion. That's what opinions are for. I'm telling you, I love what I'm doing with Big C Sports. I'm going to close out today's show. I'm going to with Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings, the top 10. And I'm going to go number 10 out of Denver Hills, California. The San Francisco Giants. They still play in the ballpark that Barry Bonds built in hopes that he might provide a boost for offense that held baseball's lowest OPS in the second half. The Giants called up Wade Meckler on Monday, just 13 months after he became an 8th round draft pick. He already is the 4th player from the 2022 draft class to reach the major leagues. I like what the Giants are able to do, but I know it's an uphill battle because they have the Dodgers out here in the NL West. But the Giants have some pitching. They're over there in McCovey Cove. We'll see what kind of noise they can make out here on the West Coast, if that makes sense to you. I got number 9 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings, the Milwaukee Brewers. A sweep of the White Sox in Chicago, of all places, over the weekend. That was a reminder that the Brewers are not going to give up their lead in the National League Central very easily. The trio of Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, and Freddie Peralta have been reunited, and they're looking pretty good. Peralta, in particular, is rounding into form, having pitched a 1.44 ERA. He's a Jedi Knight, trained long ago in a galaxy far, far away by the great Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you're pitching 1.44 ERA, you can walk up to the plate and go sit down because he's very hard to hit. Over his past 4 starts, he's been amazing, including 6 shutout innings against the White Sox on Sunday. I really like the way that good old boy's playing. And over those 4 starts, he struck out 39 batters in 29 innings. He's someone you can trust when the ball is his hands, if that makes sense to you. I got number 8 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings, Philadelphia Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies, after scoring 72 runs and knocking 23 home runs in a 10-game stretch from August 2nd through August 11th, the Phillies suddenly hit a dry spell, scoring 2 runs over 3 straight losses and wasting Zach Wheeler's strong outing on Tuesday. That sort of sums up the offense all season long. Their inconsistent play, but their top qualified player in OPS is the great Bryce Harper, who ranks 53rd in the majors. And the injured Brandon Morris has a higher OPS, but not enough at the plate. I'm telling you, Trey Turner's recent 10-game hit streak over a 10-game homestand is a positive sign for the Philadelphia Phillies. But they got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. We know they had a good chance last year to win the World Series, but the Houston Astros said not so fast, my friend. I got number 7 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Oh, Canada, our home in native land. I'm telling you, Bo Bichette appears to be on track to return from the IL sooner than later. The Blue Jays sent Bichette out for a rehab stint with the AAA Buffalo, though his first shot at game action on August 15 was rained out. He still leads the American League in hits. His edge over second place Marcus Semien has narrowed, but he still has that great power, and he's going to help them if they're going to make some noise coming down the back nine as a golf metaphor for the Toronto Blue Jays, if that makes sense to you. I got number 6 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings, the Tampa Bay Rays. A historic level of dominance the Rays demonstrated during the season's first 3 months. It seems like a distant memory. Tampa's a great baseball city. People think about Miami. You have the Tampa Bay Lightning. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Rays, they're always in contention for a championship, even though Miami is a star-studded city with the entertainment, if that makes sense to you. But Tampa Bay is still a solid position in terms of the standings in the American League playoff picture. It would take a prolonged collapse for the Rays to fall out of the playoff picture altogether. I'm telling you, this is the team. The concerning news about Ace Shane McClanahan last week ended up exactly where you don't want it to end up, and that's Tommy John surgery. So they're a good team, but they hit a speed bump, if that makes sense to you. We'll see if they can hold on down the stretch to get where they want to go. I got number 5 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings, the defending World Series champion, the Houston Astros. Dusty Baker's finest. There's something about this team this past week typified the season for Jose Altuve, one that has been more quality than quantity. When Altuve has played, he's produced. He's slashing a robust 320. Isn't that something? The problem, he's been limited to 51 games because of various injuries. And as I repeated last week, he was honored as the American League Player of the Week after 13 for 25 at the plate, but he fouled the ball off his shin in a game against Miami August 15th, so he has a little hitch in his giddy up. We will see if Dusty Baker can get those good old boys playing the way they ended up playing last year. I got number 4 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. The stars shine bright, deep in the night, deep in the heart of Texas, where it's been like 111 degrees in Dallas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's too hot. Texas keep gobbling up wins while maintaining a slim lead over Houston in the American League West. Last week was no exception as the Rangers won 2 of 3 from Oakland. You may say Las Vegas coming up. And then 2 of 3 from San Francisco out here in Dim Deer Hills, California, before putting the hammer down 12-0 on the Angels on Monday. In that game, Max Scherzer had a season-high 11 strikeouts, giving him 26 and 3 starts for that team. They are tough at the mound. I tell you that much, if that makes sense to you. I got number 3 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. And I know people may have, number 3, Curry. I don't know what you're talking about. I got the Baltimore Orioles. They're still firmly focused on a regular season that could land them in the top seed for the American League playoffs. But for those looking ahead to what a postseason can be, in Baltimore rotation might look like recent trends. They have decidedly mixed of Kyle Bradish has been the most consistent starter. However, the first half standout Tyler Wells has fallen off badly, and Kyle Gibson also has been trending in the wrong direction. They're a good story in Baltimore, and I want to tell you, it's good to see Baltimore at Camden Yards back in the playoff picture. I got number 2 in Big C's Major League Power Rankings down at Chavez Ravine. Runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung here deep. Right field, got to the ball. Home run! Say hello to my little friends. The way the great late Vince Scully would call those games. When you think about the Dodgers, they caught flack for what appeared to be an underwhelming trade deadline, one that saw them miss out on Justin Verlander and Eduardo Rodriguez and any other top flight starting pitcher. But take a look at who they did acquire. Enrique Hernandez. That good old boy's batting 300. And then when you think about they won 11 out of the last 12 years in the NL West champions, you got to realize they have Mookie Betts on their team, which is always one of the top players in baseball. And the Dodgers continue to be one of the most dominant teams in sports of all leagues. They talk about the Lakers. They can talk about the Rams or the Chargers. But there's something about even the Clippers. But the Dodgers right now, they are Los Angeles, even though people might have more affiliation with the LA Lakers. And now, number 1 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. Drum roll, please, down in Stone Mountain, Georgia, the Atlanta Braves. I'm telling you, there's something about this team. They are star-studded, lost in the wave of the great Ronald Acuna Jr.'s spectacular season and the great Matt Olson's barrage of home runs and RBIs is that Austin Riley is quietly having another excellent season after a bit of a slow start. He's up to 29 home runs. I'm telling you, these players down in Atlanta, they're a tough team. Only 12 third basemen have ever hit at least 3 such seasons. His third 30 home run season. 30 home runs, 3 years in a row. That's amazing. The great Chipper Jones, who had 5. There's something about this team in the history of the Atlanta Braves. I love watching the way they play. They are a young team, great pitching, but Ronald Acuna Jr., okay, he reminds me somewhat of Barry Bonds. Oh, Curry, there you go again. I'm not saying he's Barry Bonds, but when Barry Bonds came up to the plate, it was always must-see TV. I feel the same way with Ronald Acuna Jr., also Mookie Betts, and the great Shohei Ohtani. Everybody has his favorite players. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got the Atlanta Braves number 1 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday, August the 17th. Well, as I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber. You can call Lyft. You can call a cab. You can sleep it off. You can walk it off. But don't drink and drive. The life you save may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, back in the day, There's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because all the Big C burgers make me lie on my feet, and that's why I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911 because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that garbage on their own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. I love honoring the late great President Abraham Lincoln on every show, and you can join in with me when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. Join me in paying homage to America's best president, President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. I hope that every Major League Baseball team, NFL football team, and NBA basketball team will join in honoring President Abraham Lincoln when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.